Greetings, one and all, and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Timeless Gamer Show, where our games and our bodies may go out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey, timeless. And the show is now going live in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And for all of our old episodes, you can still go to our YouTube channel by searching in Timeless Gamer Show, or you can just go to our website directly timelessgamers.com, or you can just listen to us talk. That is fine. Just go to all of the major audio platforms streaming by searching Timeless Gamers Show. And we would like to take this opportunity to show our timeless appreciation to BitMap Books and Streamyard for allowing us to be one of their official affiliates. And shout out to our Retromancy partners there, Studio.ph and Shuffle Emporium, currently enjoying their time at the Poke convention? Pokefest. The Pokefest convention right there. All right. More on that later, guys. And of course, a quick shout out as well to our retro gaming friends from the Sega Mega Master Show and the retro gamers and collectors of the Philippines. Previously, on the Timeless Gamer Show, we shared and discussed our picks for the old MMORPGs, specifically the ones that reigned supreme back in the mid 2000s, particularly in the Philippines. Okay, so if you for all of you Filipino brethren and sisterin out there, go check them out. Okay. So for today, for this evening, it's all about the PlayStation 2, the hidden gems of the PlayStation 2. So for this evening, joining us, welcome back to the show, Sir JDM.
Hello, good evening, guys, and welcome back to the Timeless Gamer Show. Juan De Marcos of 123 Go Retro, and we're going to talk about the hidden gems of the PS2, those old titles that you love but didn't reach most of the audience back in the day. So let's go ahead and talk about that.
Encountered but not fated, unfortunately. Speaking of welcome back, Miss I.
Hi everyone, good evening, and welcome to the Timeless Gamers show for tonight, which is about the hidden gems of the PlayStation 2. I hope you enjoy our picks and let us know in the comments your hidden gems for the PlayStation 2.
Yes,
Thank you,
we
thank
will
you,
fill
Miss
your
I, and welcome,
backlogs.
welcome back. And of course, Sir Joel.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. This is Joel Baclid here in Timeless Gamer Show, and we are going to be talking about the PlayStation 2 and the games that you never got the chance to play on it. Because, well, according to our research and according to all the stats online, the PlayStation 2 is the best-selling console of all time, with 155 million units sold worldwide, and get this, over 4,000 PlayStation 2 titles have been released in the past. I absolutely bet that of those 4,000 titles, you haven't had the chance to play a few of those gems that have been hidden away because, for a variety of reasons. But we'll get to that when we get deep into the show. Back to you, Joe.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Joel. And to all of you guys joining there in the chat, we have Sir Lee of G3. Hi, Sir Lee. Welcome, welcome. And we got Sir Johannes Hood Navarro joining us as well. I think this is his first time in the show. Hello, hello, Sir Johannes. And of course, Madame Jane Tadeo. Yay! The number one fan of Miss I. Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. All right.
I,
Before we head to it, let's do some gaming news. Dun-dun-dun.
All right. For gaming news, who wants to do it? Should I?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. The big gaming news of the week is Concord. The online first person hero shooter is dead after 2 weeks of having been released by Sony. 8 years in development and, and an uncounted number of millions of dollars sunk into developing a game that, from all reports, actually killed two franchises dead in their tracks for it to be developed. I'd heard that a game series from back in PlayStation 3 era, Infamous and Prototype. If you guys are familiar with that game series, Infamous and Prototype are third-person action games with super powered characters. Those two franchises got killed in favor of this game to be developed called Concord. And lo and behold, it got released, and 2 weeks later, it's dead. And the big news is because of the fact that no, everybody looked at the designs of the character, everybody saw it, everybody thought, eh, you know, I'm not gonna play this, and the servers just died. Nobody wanted to play it. Everybody saw the character designs. It was for lack of a better word, the apathy was palpable because nobody and no, everybody saw how indistinguishable of a game it is from other games that came before, and said, well, I'm not gonna waste my time playing this. And the news is that Sony saw that there were less than 500 people concurrently at any given time playing the game. Developers were spending their weekends bringing themselves and their families over to try to play the game, to up the numbers, to no avail. So Sony decided, rather than spend millions of dollars running servers for a game that nobody's playing, decided to kill it. So that is the news, gaming news for the week. It just goes to show,
So,
if you
oh,
don't
Sony
believe
is offering Sony is offering refunds
Yes,
according to their blog.
Sony is offering full
What?
refunds. Everybody
Hmm.
who bought the game saying, "Sorry, we produced a turd. Here's your money back," which is good for them. At least they recognize the utter face plant that they did with this game. You're about to say, Joe.
No, I mean, I to be honest, I only heard about Concord
Mhm.
in my Facebook feed, and it's all about memes, really. I
Mhm.
haven't seen any much of a gameplay. No one's really talking about their gaming experience about the game. It's all about mostly about the design of the characters, which,
Yeah,
to be honest, for me, I mean, I I I feel indifferent about the design. Maybe
it,
that's it.
the designs are unattractive.
Mm.
They're not designed to pull people's attraction in. And let's face the facts. If you find a character attractive, you tend to want to play that game. Sure, there's space for characterization in the character. Like when you get into the game, you get to understand the character, no matter how the character looks and everything. If the character is interesting, even one small visual aspect of interesting thing in the character will be enough to pull you in and want to make you find out more about it. The designs we are looking at here on the screen right now are completely unattractive. The color palettes are all bad. They're neon and pastels and everything. The character shapes are all over the place. The games are supposed to idealize at least some aspects of who the characters are for you to be able to identify with them, and none of the character designs speak to anybody apparently because nobody played them. I mean, JDM, Miss Eileen, what are your thoughts?
They look bland, the characters.
They look what, Miss Eileen?
They look bland, quite bland.
Bland. Okay, yeah, they look
Blah.
very bland actually. They look like a rip-off Guardians of the Galaxy group or something like that.
Oh, you know what? I was going to say, because
Mhm.
I think I saw someone who looks like Yondu.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
This
It
guy
yeah, exactly. They feel like they're the Guardians of the Galaxy that you buy off of Temu or something like that.
from Temu.
Yeah.
I
If
remember
you
see
wanna buy Guardians of the Galaxy from Temu,
Yes, exactly. JDM, you were about to say.
I remember seeing the a meme like earlier. Sony in 2024 has
Mhm.
been like a roller coaster because earlier this year they released Helldivers 2, right? Then a lot of
Yes.
players
Oh
got
yeah,
into
that's true.
it. Then they released this Concord. then suddenly the graph is down. Then they release Astrobots. It's a upcoming game that they're going to release. Then the chart is up again. It's like a roller coaster ride. And
Yeah.
I think another one that contributed to the death of this game is um, Concord had this beta release in August, just last month, and the earlier uh, before that, um, I think was it first Descendants was released. Then you see Ultimate Bunny. Then compare this to all of the characters in Concord. Who would you choose?
I
Honestly,
mean,
it's been a yeah. Go
they
ahead.
look like they look like an off-brand Suicide Squad where you really want them to die.
Well, in that case, it would be the Homicide Squad because you're going to kill them off.
No, because I remember when Overwatch came out,
Mm.
the poster person for that game was Tracer, and she looked great.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
Like if you see Tracer, you know it's Overwatch. But looking at this, I mean, I don't know.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. It's been a string of bad games recently. Concord, that's the big news. That's the big news for the week. Concord's failure as to find any traction with the audience. I think it's because of the fact that the developers wanted representation for everybody, and that's a noble goal. You want to represent people. But looking at those designs, I don't think anybody felt represented by any of these people, any of these characters. I don't see any representation of myself. I don't see any representation of anybody I know.
Representation is okay if you're gonna just make it creative and
Yes, agreed.
imaginative.
Agreed.
Don't
Yes.
make it look bland. Otherwise, people will see the bullshit.
Yeah, it's a string of failures. It's not just Concord. I hear a game called Dustborn is failing miserably, and it's not just contained on the Sony side. There's also failures on the Xbox side as well. Plenty of them. But yeah, I think the industry is standing on the precipice of a second video game crash. If it's not careful, 1982, 1983 will happen all over again. That's the gaming news of the week. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Joel. And now it's time for our show and tell. This is the time when we brag about our acquisitions, whether it's physical or digital. Doesn't have to be games, can be toys, or anything pop culture related.
Heck,
Let's
if you
go
have book, you can
with
show.
Miss I. I think she has a few.
Nice.
Now it's been quite a while, so I've accumulated a few stuff. So remember the Recollect event last August? I was only able to get a few, but I was surprised to find this one in the market. Let me this one.
Jetman,
This is the
the
Jetman.
Jetman
It says
Game and Watch.
LSIG. Yes, it's a Game and Watch type of. Oops, the battery, the battery flew, but this is like very classic. You can see. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the battery because we might get tagged with the music.
No, 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 no. I don't think we're gonna get. I don't think there's copyright on.
On that
No,
music.
you know what?
I
I'll
remember
just sing it.
remember King's
Come
Quest.
on.
That's true. That's true.
Na, 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 na.
And I also
Jet,
got Zoo Tycoon.
Come on.
Zoo Tycoon.
Zoo.
Yeah, that's a
Zoo
really
Tycoon for the Nintendo DS.
nice
Yes.
one.
And maybe I just uh, turn off my background because it's ruining the there. And actually, one of my patients is a retro game collector, and he gave me this. He gave me a
Oh, nice.
spare PlayStation 1 memory card and this
My card.
Legacy of Goku
Legacy of Goku.
GBA.
Oh.
So I now have the 3 games. He didn't know that I have the other 2, so now I have all the 3 games on the GBA. And then lastly, I went to Malaysia on my birthday last month, and I went to this actually very what do you call this? It is the only retro game store in Malaysia that I know, because I tried looking for any stores but I couldn't find any. And this one had an extensive collection, and I found this one I've been looking for quite so long. Was to move the rhythm
That's
game on
cool.
PlayStation
Yeah,
One,
that's a great game.
and I think I just got this for around 300 pesos when we compute it in peso value, 18
Must
Malaysian ringgit.
PlayStation One, great game.
Yes, I would have bought more, but the store only had Japanese games, so I couldn't understand them. But there were a lot of really good titles. If only I understood Japanese, I would have gotten more.
Well, I mean, nowadays you can actually use your cell phone to, try to interpret using Google Translate.
True, I use
But
that, but it's quite bothersome.
yeah, it can
It
get a
is.
little
It
troublesome.
is. It is.
That's all my thoughts from the past few weeks.
All right.
It's
Thank you
good
for
to know
that,
that
Miss
there are
I.
also retro gaming stores in Malaysia, right? I thought it was like maybe it's a niche market in Malaysia, but it's good to know that they do have their own retro gaming stores.
Yes, I was surprised. They actually have a lot of collection from different
You
consoles.
weren't expecting that there's going to be a retro gaming store or a tech store in Malaysia.
I did not. I actually had to make like 3 rides just to get there. It was like a field trip, or like a I don't know, pilgrimage to get there because it took quite a ride to get there. It wasn't easily accessible for tourists, I would say. You have to really research your way around there.
All right. Thank you for that, Miss I. And up next, we got Sir Joel. I think a couple.
Just one, just one.
Ah.
I placed this order from this guy online. His name is Viraj Kathwad. Yeah, I don't know. He seems somewhat familiar. I've
Sounds
run
like a douche. Sounds like a
one
douchebag.
through my trawling around the darker parts of the internet. Whatever. But I ordered this from him. And he came through for me masterfully. The name of the game is Star Ixiom, and it is the PlayStation One sequel to one of my most favorite games of all time, Star Luster. Star Luster on the Japanese Famicom is a continuously enjoyable game. Very, very short, but infinitely replayable game of you are the typical lone starship off to save the galaxy. You are the last hope to try to destroy the final boss, and this is the full 3D remake slash sequel of the game Star Luster. It's called Star Ixiom. It was only ever released in Japan and Europe. It never came to U.S. shores. Luckily, Viraj came through for me and found me the European version, which includes an English translation and Italian and some other barbaric languages included there. So I know you guys are in the audience are gonna have your pitch torches and pitchforks up now, but thank you very much to Mr. Baraj Kathuadia for sourcing one of my holy grails on the PlayStation 1. Star Ixiom for the PlayStation 1. First person shooter in space, destroying aliens and finding the equivalent of the Death Star and doing your trench run and destroying it. Thanks very much, Viraj. You're the best.
How the hell are you even going to play that? As in,
Oh,
how?
PlayStation 1?
Do you
Yeah,
have a
I still have my, the small, tiny little PlayStation 1 with the screen on it. I'll play it there.
No, I
Hmm.
mean, like how? I mean, do you have a PAL PS1?
Oh no, the PAL PS1, yeah. I think I might have one in the what you call this in the baul in the storage. Yeah,
Uh,
so,
If you have
okay. Also,
PS3, you can
you
also
have a
do
PAL
that.
version and you have a
yes, I'll just pull
North
out the
American
I'll just pull
version.
out the
There you go.
screen. Yeah, I'll just pull out the screen and then stick it into the other one na lang, yan. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But yes, definitely I'll definitely be able to play it. And the big thing about Star Luster and Star Ixiom series, they're infinitely replayable, so I can play them over and over again. I like those kinds of games, where you finish it, you can start a new game. It's almost a completely different experience. Mhm.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir
Oh,
Joel.
and one last thing: the
Yep.
Star Luster and Star Ixiom series are actually connected to the Galaga universe. So if you've ever played that original series, the Galaga, and I think
Galaxian.
Galaxian, Bosconian. This one, Star Luster and Star Ixiom, are actually connected to that universe. They're all programmed by Namco anyway. So yeah, they're all connected.
The Galaga gaming universe, guys.
Yes, also mentioned in
All
the
right.
movie, Pixels by Adam Sandler.
Pixel.
Yeah, Galaga anyway.
I think the reason why it wasn't released in the US is because it sounds like the last Starfighter. When
Oh
you
yeah,
mentioned that
yeah,
you're the last line of defense,
absolutely.
which is the same way the last Starfighter.
The Last Starfighter, which was ripped off by Ernest Klein in his book Armada, if I remember correctly. And well, anyway, let's continue.
All right. Thanks for that, Sir Joel. How about Sir JDM? Do you have any?
Nada, I don't have anything yet because I'm here in Leyte and I just got a new job. So
That's
I'm
a show and
saving up.
tell. What's the new job?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that'll be fine. If you're comfortable saying JDM.
I just had a client who would like me to do marketing research for her. She's in Las Vegas. I don't know if she's watching, but I told her that we're having this podcast.
Wow. Thank you for that, Sir JDM. All right, so that's it for our show and tell. Let's now proceed with the main topic of the show, which is the PlayStation 2 hidden gems. So, just like Sir Joel mentioned earlier, um, as of today, still, at the time of the recording of the show, PS2 still is the highest grossing selling gaming console out there. All right, make no mistake. But kind of, it's arguable. I'm not even sure if people bought it for the gaming purposes or the DVD functions of it, though. But nevertheless, over 4,000 games in its library altogether between North America, the PAL regions, and Japan, of course. So, I mean, you're bound to see a few games there that you haven't heard or hardly got any attention. Okay, as in the Philippines, most likely when the PlayStation hit. Well, this is coming from personal experience. So PlayStation 2 came out like what in the year 2000, yeah, year 2000 to 2001. Around this time, I'm still playing with my PlayStation 1. And arguably, I think the majority of the Filipinos out there was still playing the PlayStation 1. Heck, they might be still playing the SNES or the Famicom around 2001. Right? So JDM knows this. So with me, the only time I was able to buy my own PlayStation 2 was around 2009 when I got my first bonus. And that's already been like almost 10 years of video games right there. So I was only able to play like 10 or 15 games out of it because the PlayStation 3 is already out by 2006, 2007, and I want to invest my time on that as well. All right. So so to me, it's either number one, either you're still playing with the PlayStation 1. Number two, you can't afford the PlayStation 2. And number three, even if you have the money for a PlayStation 2, why invest on the PlayStation 2? You can just invest on the PlayStation 3, right? Well, anyways, how about you guys? What's your PS2 experience? Sir JDM.
For me, I bought my first PS2 the only PS2 that I have actually in 2007. So 2 years earlier than Sergio, and
Mm.
it was my Christmas bonus back in 2007. I bought it. Actually, I was just looking for like a gift for our exchange gift. Then all of a sudden, I saw this shining brand new PS2 in I forgot the store. Then it's here in Leyte in Ormoc City. I saw this shining new PS2. It had Metal Gear Solid 3, which I was in shock because
Mm.
um, back then I didn't know that there was a sequel because here in Leyte everything is so they're not like updated to the new things technology wise, and I
You're
just
like
saw
5 years
this.
late.
Yes,
I mean, whatever's
but
happening in Metro Manila, it's 5 years late there.
yes, and although there are still shops that rent PS1, but um, there are only rentals, so no. At the time around 2000, early 2000s, between 2000 and 2005, you looking for PS1 games even is really hard. So I was shocked that there's a Metal Gear Solid 3. So I bought it. I actually forgot to like wrap the gift that I'm going to give my manita. So I played it. I think what were the games that I bought? Uh, I think GTA San Andreas, Metal Gear Solid 3. I think those are the only games that I bought because the shop said you can buy two games included. So I bought that, and I discovered a lot of um, rare games in the internet when I try to search for games. So that's it.
All right. Thank you
2007
for that.
and 2000,
2007. Yeah.
2007 up until early 2009 is all about my PS2 and my cousins because we used to play back then when we were still teens on our teens.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir JDM. How about Miss I? How about your PS2 experience?
I would say my PlayStation 2 experience was quite early compared to other Filipinos because this is quite an interesting fact. But my brother used to be a prolific game facts writer. So there was one time when someone approached him and they were about to start a new review website or something. So they sent my brother a modified PlayStation 2 along with a modified GameCube. So they sent him the consoles and the games for him to review. And that was around maybe 2001 or 2002, I think. So we were able to play PlayStation 2 games as early as that time compared to other Filipinos. And I remember which games were did we play. Um, I do remember him receiving Silent Hill 2, Final Fantasy 10, and I asked for a Metal Gear Solid 2 because I already enjoyed Metal Gear Solid 1. And what I also loved about PlayStation 2 was that it became our first DVD player. So, and because it was from the US, it was sent to us via FedEx. It was region 1, so we had some trouble with getting DVDs because of the region. But the games
Ah,
were actually,
wow. So, so are we assuming that your DVDs are from Region One?
yes.
So basically, original DVDs.
Yes, they were. Because our aunt in the US sends us stuff sometimes. So
And
she
so not McLaren region, not Quiapo region.
no, they're original region 1 DVDs. But later on down
Right.
the years later, the what do you call this? The Banquet, the DVDs,
Pirate region.
The Banquet editions.
Right.
and the special editions with movies like we didn't know that had the fifth installment of their movies and like weird other sequels. So those were our early experiences with the PlayStation 2.
All right. Thank you for that, Miss I. How about Sir Joel?
My experience with the PlayStation 2 was also relatively early, around 2003 or 2004, if I remember correctly, because that was the time when the PlayStation 2 came to Philippine shores. And the thing about it is the first kinds of modifications. The Philippines had a very vibrant, for like, and then let's just get straight to it. The Philippines had a very vibrant piracy scene back then. And the PlayStation 2 could play pirated games of only if you booted it up initially with one particular game, one particular original game first. It was Devil May Cry. You had to have the original Devil May Cry game from the non-pirated version, the PS2 non-pirated version of Devil May Cry. You had to boot that up first, and then you had to make sure that after a certain moment that it would get pulled, you'd pull out that disc and then you'd put in your pirated disc. That was the modification that I came into, and I got to play PlayStation
Cool.
games with it. So yeah, the first mod, I think that was the very first mod of the PlayStation 2 that I got to play,
Soft
2003.
mod.
Yeah, soft mod. I we weren't as advanced way back when during our caveman days. We were still killing stegosauruses and making sure that the spiky part at the very end, the thagomizer, wouldn't get us. But yeah, that's that was my initial foray into the PlayStation 2. It was a lot of fun though. There were a lot of early PlayStation 2 games sa bangketa in the Quiapo, Baclaran, Alabang, Palengke bangketas that I got to enjoy. Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joel. So, since we got Sir Joel right here, how about let's start with your hidden gem? Game number one.
Number one hidden gem for the PlayStation 2. Let's start it off. Um, let the game that I'm going to start off with is a flight sim. Not. It's not even a sim. It's a flight arcade game called Heat Seeker. It came out on the PlayStation 2, and it also came out on PSP, surprisingly. But they were pretty solid ports. So the PSP version was a pretty solid port. The PlayStation 2 game Heat Seeker is an aerial combat slash arcade game where you play a pilot who gets to pilot all these jets, like the F-16, the F-15, the F-14 Tomcat, the Su-27 Flanker, Russian, and the Su-27 Flanker, the Russian one, and you go fight all these bad guys. The thing about it is this game came out during the time of the Ace Combat series. That's the more popular version of aerial combat slash arcade flight sims. And this flew under the radar, literally and figuratively speaking. So it does just, it just never gained the popularity that it kind of not really deserved, but it was a lot of fun nevertheless. And the fact is, it's got a good storyline to it as well. I mean, flight sim arcade style shoot 'em up games don't really need a very deep plot. And the Ace Combat series had a really good set of plots. This one is just simple. You're a pilot, some miniature Caribbean dictator decides to launch an offensive against your nation, and you are tasked to blow everything out of the sky and use your bombs to destroy all those ships on the sea as well. It's very fast paced. It's very it's nail bitingly exciting at certain moments. It ramps up the difficulty from really easy, you're just blowing things out of the sky, to the point where you feel like you're Maverick from Top Gun, and it ramps up to a point where Everything is coming at you. Actually, I can think of this as a spiritual sequel of Top Gun on the NES Famicom. If you've ever played Top Gun, it even has the landing on the cruiser sequence for this one. Although not as hard, it's not as hard as the NES Famicom version, where you have to keep your nose up and keep it at 200 miles per hour and come in at a certain angle. You make one mistake and you just overshoot the carrier and your ship blows up. This one, at least somehow, once you get to a certain point, the autopilot takes over and you land on the carrier perfectly. Generally, Heat Seeker is a shoot 'em up. It's not a sim at all. You don't get to toggle all those different buttons or panels or things like that. Radar, you throw out flares when you are when missiles are coming at you, heat-seeking missiles. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's got a passable storyline, and you're not in an aerial shooter arcade game to listen to hardcore politics about nations coming up against each other. It can add to the experience, yes, but you're in it for the high speed shooting missiles at enemies action, and Heat Seeker delivers in spades. Honestly, this is my first hidden gem for the PlayStation 2. Heat Seeker for the PlayStation 2. If you're looking for an aerial combat game, Dan, this one might be for you. Dan Faulkner, who loves Afterburner and Afterburner 2 on the arcades, this one might be up your alley. Check it out. Heat Seeker on the PlayStation 2. And if you want it portable, on the PSP as well. That's my first game. All right. I think Joe, if you can, okay. Well, I guess Joe might be a little bit distracted. Would something like this be something that you might want to play, JDM?
Yeah, this reminds me of my PTSD with Afterburner, the one
After
that
Burning, yeah.
Sir Dan suggested in our shoot 'em up episode.
Aha.
So, but this is more 3D, and this is arcade style, unlike what you said earlier about
Hmm.
Ace Combat Night, where you have a lot of toggles, you have switches,
Yeah.
and this one is, if you're already in the air, all you have to do is maneuver and shoot the other uh, fighter planes that you can see on the screen, and
Hmm.
you can play Mighty Wings while playing this game, so you can
Hmm.
get that Top Gun vibes while playing
Hmm.
this. Right?
Oh, but
Maybe.
I'll always say Iron Eagle is still a better movie than Top Gun. Anyway, if you're familiar with Iron Eagle, that's a great movie. How about you, Miss Eileen? Have you ever considered playing action games like this?
I would say I remember playing, yes, the Top Gun and Sky Destroyer on the NES. So maybe I'm not really fond of this game genre, but I'm open to playing this type of games because I
Mhm.
also remember playing. If anybody remembers the Independence Day game on the computer,
Oh yeah,
it was it was also a
Independence
flight.
Day. That was all right. Mhm.
Yeah, so it was also something like this, but in the setting of the Independence Day movie. And I
Mhm.
think this game is fun to play and challenging, and I like the, well, because I grew up with the PlayStation 2 as well.
Mhm.
The graphics appeal to me, even though maybe kids today would say, "Oh, the graphics are bad." No, this is like nice to the eyes for someone like me. I would
Mhm.
be happy to try this out.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's my first game of the PlayStation 2. Let's move on to the next one. How about you, JDM? You want to give us your number one hidden gem PlayStation 2 game?
So my first hidden PS2 hidden gem is going to be the Warriors
Oh, the
by
Warriors. Oh,
Rockstar
Yes,
Games,
that's
and
yeah.
yeah, it's action sandbox game, which is a sequel to the movie The Warriors from 19 not sure which year it was, 1979, I guess.
Mm.
So it's the story of the gang called the Warriors, who are one of the gangs in Brooklyn who was on the run because they were like being chased by other gangs for mistakenly being like they were framed up for killing this peacemaker.
Cyrus.
Yeah. Can you dig it? And if you have watched the movie, you'll really love. You might really want to check this game out if you haven't heard of this. It's a prequel. It's like 3 months before the start of the movie, before this Cyrus from the Rifts. He was the most leader of the most powerful gang in New York City.
Mm.
And what I like about this game, it's so the setting is they really got it right because you have the ambience, you know, the 1970s setting of Bronx. You have this lot of alleyways that you can get into, and the technology that they have. You have the cars, and it borrows the gameplay of Grand Theft Auto and Bully. I think
Mm.
this game and Bully came out in the same year or earlier than the other. And what I liked about this is even though they have similar gameplay with Grand Theft Auto, it had a more like complex controls and mechanics than in GTA because you can really do combos. It's really focused in brawling. So you
Mm.
have throws, you have a combination of kicks and punches, and you also have, of course, the weapons. And it's really um, an action game, and not really like an open world game like GTA or Bully.
Mm.
So and you know, Rockstar games, they really love their violence. This is a mature game, and also this game is it came out 2005 or 2006, so almost 30 years after the the movie was released in 1979. And it's really cool that I don't know, maybe they just saw this movie and they said that, hey, we would like to get rights to create a game for this movie. And yeah, I really had fun playing this.
Mm.
And this scene here, it's a tutorial, and all the people that they're beating up are those drunkards in the streets who would like um j- who would like to get like beaten up just to get their money to buy alcohol. So
Yeah. Well, I actually agree with Marlon Hurtado's Eliscupides here, who says the Warriors, uh, the Warriors is a really nice movie, and I do agree with him on that one because of the fact that here in the US, The Warriors is actually a cult classic movie. Everybody who you say the line, "Can you dig it?" actually actually recognizes, that's The Warriors. They know that movie. And it's a good movie too because it was based on a classic book called The Anabasis by Xenophon. It tells the story of his army being caught behind enemy lines during Greek times, and they're having to travel all across through enemy lines and across the sides, the water side of Greece for them to be able to reach back home. The Anabasis by Xenophon, and Some would say that it's based on anything that's based on classic literature will make good money nowadays, especially, if you look at some games that actually make money nowadays, like Black Myth Wukong, which is based on Journey to the West by one of the ancient Chinese literatures. Sometimes you just gotta reach into classic, timeless, to use our our catchphrase here in Timeless Gamers, timeless themes for you to be able to reach out to the biggest audience. How about you, Miss Eileen? What do you think of this game, The Warriors, for the PlayStation 2?
I actually only got to know about this game from a streamer that I follow. And
Mm,
when I got to see the gameplay, I was like, oh, this is right down my alley. So while I
mm,
haven't played the PlayStation 2 version, I was actually able to start playing the PSP version. And I also watched the movie because um, Ajax, if anybody knows
Mm.
James Remar, he's quite a that guy actor. I like James Remar. So I tried the movie out and enjoyed it. And the game appealed to me and also enjoyed the game because I like me, I like beat 'em ups. So this game is quite fun for me. And they actually had a reunion like a few years ago. So most
mm.
of the
Oh yeah,
cast members were back together. That
oh
was
yeah,
so neat.
yeah. I think the reunion even happened here in New Jersey. They I wasn't able to go, but they had a convention where all the Warriors actors were there. It was a trip, shall we say?
And
But
I think they actually had to mingle with real gang members during the filming
mm,
of the movie
yeah,
so they could learn about the ins and outs of gang world.
yeah, it's
Are,
true.
are we sure this is Warriors or Grand Theft Auto? What is this?
it's, yeah, it's the Warriors for PS2, Joe. And yeah, was it developed by Rockstar? I don't think so, right?
Yes. Yes, it
It
is.
wasn't. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes, it was.
There you go. That's
Ah,
that's
there you go.
that's where all the mechanics do come from. I saw the carjacking mechanic. It does remind me of Grand Theft Auto Chinatown, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. It also reminds me of that another Rockstar game, Manhunt,
Oh,
because
Manhunt. Yes.
they have similar gameplay as well, which is
Mhm.
it's kind of brutal. Um, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, this game, Bully and Manhunt, same the similar gameplay, and I think there's like they're in the same universe because
Mm.
back in GTA San Andreas, they mentioned Carcer City, which was the setting for the first Manhunt game. So I think
Mm.
they are trying, maybe before they were trying to like do like a universe
Ah,
to connect all these games. So but maybe it didn't like materialize because of the other players, they didn't know about this game or Manhunt or Bully, so they just focused on GTA. But
hello.
I would
It's
really love to see that happening, but I don't know. Maybe they just really dropped the ball and didn't.
yeah.
They just
So,
capitalized the GTA.
so what do you think is the reason why this game got slept on? I mean,
Um,
what year was this?
I guess because of the popularity of the GTA games, the Grand
Mm.
Theft Auto series,
Yeah.
they left this out because uh, I don't know, maybe back
Oh,
in
the Wonder Wheel. I've been
2005
there. I've been
they
there to
didn't.
Coney Island, the Wonder Wheel. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And they didn't really know about the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe they did, most of the Gen Y kids back then didn't know about the movie. Maybe
No,
it's
it's
only
also
that.
yeah. I completely agree with JDM on this one. The Warriors might be a cult classic here in the US, but it's completely unknown in Pinas. Nobody has ever
Mm,
heard of the Warriors, the movie in Pinas, and
yeah.
I highly encourage anybody to watch the movie. It's a it's a pretty good one, and it's got
Movie review.
yes, movie review of the Warriors. Actually, that's a pretty good idea. A movie review compared to the video game, side by side. A comparison review, shall we say? That sounds like a pretty good
Uh,
idea.
so the movie came out first
Oh,
before the
long
game.
ago, yeah.
Yeah,
The
All
movie was
right.
a '70s movie, if I remember
yeah.
correctly. Yeah.
Late
Right. Well,
70s.
yeah. It kind of looks like it because of the hair and
Yeah.
and their dresses. I mean their outfits.
Yes.
Um, it's like the people from New Jack City meets West Side Story meets Grease.
Oh yeah, it's well worth a watch. And Christopher Abistado says, "Well, you torrent na yan, baka wala sa Netflix." Yeah, yeah. I would say, Christopher, you just find it online, no matter how you get it. Because honestly, there are a few movies that are well worth watching, despite the fact that it's inaccessible to you right now. Highly recommended the Warriors movie and play the game. Apparently, JDM likes it, and it's a hidden gem slept on the PS2 for a number of reasons, as outlined by JDM. All right, excellent. Is
Someone's getting busy there.
yeah,
With pants on. Yes.
yes.
There
Mhm.
you
It's like
go.
that in the movie.
Did Can we see? Are we going to see? Are we going to see that in the movie?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
All
in this
right.
game, no.
No, not in the game. No.
All the action you can get
Ah.
is a literal action, like punching and kicking and mugging people.
All right. So and we move on now to Miss Eileen's choice of PlayStation 2 slept on slash hidden gem.
My choice game would be Fight Night Round 3 on the PlayStation,
Yes.
which was released on 2000, February 20, 2006 by Electronic Arts. So I would say this game maybe was slept on or missed by most players if the players aren't sports or boxing fans.
Which is ironic because Filipinos love boxing.
And actually, Manny Pacquiao is in it. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering, was this missed because there wasn't enough marketing here in the Philippines like that? There's Manny. I'm not sure if Filipinos know about this game because it's Filipinos almost everybody loves basketball. It's always NBA here and there. All the PlayStation packages come with NBA games, but rarely would you see boxing games there.
Mhm.
So I hope many played this one because the only boxing games I've played was Super Punch Out on the SNES and later on actually the Punch Out game on the NES.
Mhm.
So what I liked about this game is first of all the controls is quite creative because it was the era of the start of the analog sticks. So kids, there didn't used to be analog sticks. Um, in this game, you get to use the left analog stick to that right like that move around the ring, and if you press the I think the L1 button, you get to
You can
lean.
just dodge and weave, yes, like that. You
Yes,
can
the weave.
dodge.
You can actually. I think you can do the. I forgot the weave. The term like the eight.
Yes. Mhm.
I forgot the term for that. And the right analog stick is for the punches, and it's actually quite intuitive and creative because if you just tap the right analog stick quite lightly, you get to do the jab, left
Mhm.
or right. If you,
So this is one of those boxing games that you can actually use the analog sticks as your punches.
Very much, yes.
You're
yes,
not pushing the buttons.
no,
You can configure it that you're just pushing buttons, but there's a scheme called that it uses that it says called total punch control, where you
yes,
use the analog sticks to precisely choose which fists you use. If you want a right hook, if you want an left uppercut, if you want an overhand
Ah,
punch, you can actually
right.
do that as well. But it's a little hard to execute. But and yeah, haymakers, you pull the stick back,
true.
pull, and you roll it forward. It's a very strong punch, but it eats up your stamina a lot, right, Miss Eileen?
Yes, it does.
Mhm.
Oh, I just remembered the Dempsey roll. It's the eight-figure weaving movement. You can
Oh
actually do
yeah,
it
yeah,
here, I
that's true.
think.
Mhm.
Dempsey roll. So, like Sergio said, with the right analog stick, you can do a jab, a hook,
Mhm.
uppercut, and even body shots.
Yes,
It's really
it's
what do you
intuitive.
say?
It's very intuitive. Mhm.
Yes, very intuitive. I I saw videos on the internet, and I haven't played the earlier Fight Night games, the first and the second, but they said this
Mhm.
one is much better.
Yes. Mhm.
And as you can see, button mashing doesn't work here. You really
Oh,
have
no.
to, no, because I'm not sure if we can see it here, but the boxers actually have the tell if they're gonna punch you on the head or
Yes.
the body. So
Mhm.
sometimes if you punch on the body, what happens is they will parry your body shot, and your character will like be in a daze and
Oh, oh,
cannot
he's close to getting knocked out. Come on,
Oh,
come on, come on, come on, Pacquiao. Take him in, take him in.
I like
Boom!
there.
whenever
Yes!
oh, whenever I see
Oh, that's
streamers
Morales.
playing this, I like to like do clips
Oh,
of
yeah.
this
There.
slow motion replays because it's really funny, and you look you look at their eyes, it's so dead.
Yes, it's well, knockout punches have slow mo cameras, and it's a lot of fun. Honestly, the part of what makes this game fun is the well, number one, the dodging. Number two, it's the parry system. When you actually parry a punch, it goes against your no, you parry it and you're able to counter very quickly. There's no defense against it. You parry the punch and you punch against the other guy, there's really no way he's going to be able to defend it. It's a great way to whittle down his health. Of course, there's also the mini games, the healing here, where you kind of heal the guy's cuts
Mm,
and sore portions and everything. Pinaplancha, you're using a hot iron.
that
Honestly,
one.
you're using a hot iron against somebody whose eyes are getting swollen. Yeah, it's because you need to bring down that swelling. It's
Yeah.
a good game. And it's one of those games that you can play over and over again. Like Marlon says, Manny Pacquiao is playable in this game, so as you can see in the screen. And it boggles my mind, honestly, why Filipinos are not into boxing video games because
Because
it's
everybody think of
genius.
basketball.
Mm,
They're busy with Final Fantasy 10.
What I like about this game,
mm.
um, are the girls.
The ring
That's
girls,
besides the
okay,
point.
fine.
Around
That's the point.
Okay.
Okay. Why do you think this game has been slept on? I mean,
Yeah,
what? I mean,
beside me,
did it
why do
came
you think?
with another game or something
Mhm.
or what?
I feel like because there aren't many boxing fans as other sports, because like here in the Philippines it's mostly basketball fans. Maybe
Mm.
in the US it's football fans. And I'm not sure about other countries, but boxing isn't as I would say followed by as many people unless
Mm.
you have a your home champion, like as we have Manny Pacquiao, and Mexico has lots of boxers like Morales,
Of
Yes.
course.
the other guy, oh my God, Marquez,
Barrera.
lots
Barrera, yeah.
Barrera,
Mhm.
lots more. So
My
maybe only countries that have their
Which is
uh,
strange because the
champions.
Philippines has a lot of boxers. There's Navarrete, there's Onyok Velasco, there's Pacquiao. We've got a lot.
oh, I got a theory.
Mm.
My theory is that and I'm only speaking this out of experience
Ah.
in our neighborhood. So we got this one communal television. It's
Mm,
just it's so they just installed a like a big
Oh,
CRT
yeah.
television right there on the wall for everybody to see. And when the match is on, it's just there, and all of the old people, middle aged guys, all hover in the same spot staring at that television all day. So yeah, I mean, we can tell boxing fans, right?
Oh, yeah.
What are the chances these guys have their own PlayStation 2s,
Very true. Yeah, very
right?
true. Mhm.
Yes, they do like their boxings, but they don't have any PlayStation 2s. So
Mhm.
Yeah, and maybe they
what I'm
just want to
that's what
like
I'm
just watch instead of playing themselves
playing.
That's
playing the
true.
game themselves
Mm.
But
because
yeah. But Fight Night
That's
Round
the
Three
thing.
has a great lineup of
They like to watch.
has a great lineup of characters. It has Muhammad Ali. It has what or Roy Jones. It has what you call this the guy with the grill.
George
Yeah,
Foreman.
George Foreman. Yeah, it has George Foreman in there. You know, and it's you don't know him as a boxer anymore. You know him as the guy with the grill.
Oh, that guy from
Uh,
an infomercial. Yeah.
Which one?
The
We
guy.
got
Oh,
Sir
the
we
infomercial.
got
Yeah,
Sir
that's true.
Drew there. Hi, Sir Drew. Why, Sir Drew, come up here.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. You can come
What
up,
the
Drew.
hell are you doing there in the chat? Come up here.
All right, but now
What I like
that
about
is
that
Miss
game,
Eileen's choice, top number
yeah,
one game, and I completely agree with her reasoning. It's likely because of the fact that Filipinos tend to go for if it's sports video games, it's NBA. I would say NBA is their game, and
also
mhm,
I guess pro wrestling.
pro wrestling. Agree.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
pro wrestling.
Mhm,
Than boxing.
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Uh, I don't know how popular FIFA is in Pinas nowadays, but that also.
Up, coming up to the challenge. He's right
There
here.
you
See,
Hey
go.
guys,
That's
say
true.
there you go.
Hey,
say his name and he appears.
Yes, he is summoned. There you go. Joining us now
The
is
John Henry
Drew.
reference right
Hey,
here.
good evening, guys.
So
So
since we
we're
got
talking
Sir
about
Drew right,
PlayStation 2
hidden
hidden
gems.
gems or
Hmm.
unsung PlayStation 2 games. If I heard correctly.
Mhm.
Anyway, thank you for having me on such short notice. And you've been talking about Fight Night. That's such a nice game. I
It is.
actually really love this game, and I do agree with Sir Joel as there's a lot of Filipino boxing fans who love Manny Pacquiao, and very little. There's so many fans of boxing, yet there's not much fans in terms of video games for boxing in the Filipino gaming community,
It, it
um
boggles
and
my
that
mind as to why. I don't know.
yeah
Honestly.
and this is actually a really good game. You actually see the swelling where they get hit.
Mhm.
Oh,
You have to take care of the cuts. It's very it's
It's
a
very
very good
technical too.
simulation. It's a very
It,
good
it's
simulation.
it's very
Yeah.
technical too. If you keep hammering at a guy's body portion, he's gonna have less breath. If he keeps getting hit in the body, he's gonna have less stamina because he can't take in as much air. If you keep hitting his head, then
right.
he'll have less coordination because he gets confused. It's very technical.
Yeah, and it's a game that I actually wanted to be incorporated to one of the video games on the PlayStation 2 era, which is Hajime no Ippo. And
Hajime Ifa,
that's
yes.
Ah,
a little bit more clunkier. And when
Mm,
this was released, I believe Hajime no Ippo was also airing back in the Philippines. So it just blows your mind why why as there's not much gamers playing the game, and it's such a nice game. It's better than the MMA, the UFC games that was released in the PlayStation 3, but because that you can't really feel that one feels clunkier, that one feels a little bit less intuitive,
yeah.
and this is a very nice game. Pacquiao was winning a lot during that era, and yeah, I do agree with the pick. And whose pick was this anyway?
Miss Eileen. Miss Eileen's
Oh,
choice.
Eileen, oh, nice pick. Nice pick. Sorry. I just
Yeah.
heard that you were talking about the game and I didn't really heard whose pick it was. Sorry.
Well, now that we
Anyway,
have you here, Drew, let's have your choice of number one most. Well, your personal choice as to what game on the PS2 era got slept on or is a hidden gem. As compared to other games that are more popular during that era. Like in my
mhm.
case, it was Heat Seeker, because of the fact that Ace Combat was a big thing. In JDM's case, it was the Warriors because Grand Theft Auto was a
Oh,
big
that's a
thing.
nice one.
Yeah, the
I
Warriors.
also love that one. The movie and the game.
Yes, the movie and the game.
Both of those things were
can you
awesome. Were
dig
really
it?
nice adaptation of
Yeah.
it.
Well, how
Really,
about you,
really
Drew? Give us
well.
your choice of hidden gem slash slept on game.
I would go with Makai Kingdom Chronicles of the Sacred
Oh,
Zone. This
nice one.
is Yeah, this is from the same developers as the ones who did this Gaia, and some of the characters are actually here. And it's the gameplay on this one is a mixture of both this Gaia and a little bit of Phantom Brave. So a really over the top series, well, not series, over the top game. I really enjoyed this because I enjoyed this Gaia. I didn't even knew at first that this was made by the people who made this Gaia. And Makai Kingdom really goes all in with the references with certain things like Super Sentai and the over the top characters that are in here. I really enjoyed this game because the main protagonist on this game is a book, but he is an all powerful badass overlord Zeta, and he's actually in his quest to be able to regain his lost powers on this game. So Overlord Zeta, as you can see here, he is the one. He's the book. So Chronicles of the Sacred Tome. It is because he is a book, and I do love certain references on here, like references for Super Sentai, because they have characters here that looks like Power Rangers, and they also have a character here who looks somewhat like Shenron from Dragon Ball, but has a lightsaber. So many off the balls storytelling, and it's a tactics game. So I this is one of the main genres I played during the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 1 era, and I really do highly recommend this. It's just that I rarely hear people talk about this, but they would talk about this Gaia. They would talk about Phantom Brave. It's just that they would even talk about Lapusel Tactics, but they rarely mention this particular game. But this is
Makai Kingdom, huh?
do you know about this, Sir Joe? I think Sir Joe
No,
knows.
no, I mean, no, I mean, so yeah, like you mentioned, uh, it's either this Gaia, which is there, between this Gaia, and then you got Phantom Brave, and then you got Soul Nomad, and then you
Yeah,
got Rhapsody, which
yeah,
pretty much have the same
same
aesthetic,
vibes. Yeah, same
right?
vibes, same aesthetic.
I have not heard about Makai Kingdom. Is this like a Japanese exclusive?
No, no, no.
No, it has
It came out.
a
It came
US
out West
release.
Side too. It's just
See, I don't know about this game because because it's just those four. I have
I
to be honest,
wish
this
that
is the first time I heard of this.
I wish that I'd played this because, but then again, as everybody knows, I'm crap with tactics games. When it comes to this guy and stuff like that, I love the idea of it. I'm just terrible at them. But this one I keep seeing, and I wish that I could play it, but I just,
Hmm.
don't have the skill to.
Yeah,
Drew,
We're
I know Lapisil tactics, but not
yeah,
this.
yeah. It's one of those games. It's part of those particular universe, and it's the same makers
yeah,
actually. And I think it's just that during that era, since I really love SRPGs. And by the way, I have just a little bit of a side note. I just recently got the platinum for Unicorn Overlord, which is an
nice. Wow.
awesome, yeah, an awesome SRPG that is released this year, which is also an overlooked title because of the releases on this year. It has been competing for attention made by Vanillaware. Anyway, just wanted to say it out there since we're on the topic of underrated, overlooked titles. And going back to Makai Kingdom, it's the over the top story of this. It's I know it has a lot of cliches. It's
And it looks
very
funny
very
as hell, too.
it's funny as hell. Yes, it is funny as hell. It has the comedy, the writing from the makers of Phantom Brave and this Gaia. It's just that I think only this Gaia right now is still continuing with this particular
Yeah, I
style
think
of
this guy is up to 7 now, if I remember correctly.
yeah. And And that's the funny thing about it. This guy is up to 7, but during the PlayStation 2 era, they were pumping out different IPs with the same
Mm.
or close to the same gameplay. Even up to the PlayStation Portable era, they
Mm.
have say HP. They have Crimson. No, Crimson Gem Saga is made by a different developer, I think.
Mm.
But they have been pumping out so many strategy RPGs during the PlayStation 2 era up to the PSP era, and they are all new IPs. Wherein now all we get from them are this Gaia, and still happy about it that we're still
Mm.
getting it.
Ah,
But
I mean, I mean, looking at this, I mean, that thing on that demon's body, is that supposed to be a girl's head where that demon's dick is supposed to be?
yep, yep.
Well,
A
And
literal
also,
head.
if you check out the design of
It's
that
a literal
particular
head. So,
character,
so,
it
so
looks
the
like
lady's head is giving him head, right?
yeah, the yeah. So yeah, so much
So question.
sexual
So, how is this
innuendo.
different from all of the other NIS games?
Well,
How is this different from this guy,
you
Phantom Brave, Soul Nomad, Lapisil Tactics, and
they're actually formulatic on the storytelling on it because you are an overlord, which is something similar to what this Gaia has been doing with this Gaia 2. You have an
mm.
overlord. Well, you have an overlord there, and uh, this just mainly focus on the over the top characters wherein almost everybody that you interact with, not the commons, but rather the special characters are all overlords, and that's mainly it. That it has the same this almost the same what they call this almost the same elements as this Gaia, with the exception of the somewhat city building, a little bit of city building aspect, as you could see here in this particular part. That is mostly used for recruitables and some things along those lines. Anyway, but if you do love this Gaia series, the storytelling, the gameplay, it is very much similar to this one, and its most defining factor that would separate it from this Gaia is that all of the characters, the special characters here, are all OP, as in they're all of the walls overpowered, and they're like all of them are like Saitama. And I haven't caught up with the rest of the Disgaea series because I stopped at the D2 A Brighter Darkness, so I'm not sure how the stories went from 3, 4, 5, and up to 7. So maybe the storytelling is aching along those lines. So yeah, during the PlayStation 2 era, I really loved this one, especially is the comedic story aspect of it. But yeah, that's my pick for Overlook PlayStation 2 game. Um yeah. Well, that's actually it.
Impressions. Miss Eileen, would something like this be something that you would play?
Hmm, maybe not because I'm not a fan of strategic games. I'm more on the action RPGs because turn-based games and strategic games sorry bore me. But I respect those who enjoy the games because we all have our own
Hmm.
live and let live.
Yes, we all have our preferences. How about you,
Yeah.
JDM? Would something like this be something that you'd play?
I definitely play this because I love tactical RPGs
Mm.
like Final Fantasy Tactics, what they call that, Brigandine. I played a lot of those, and I like this Gaia because of the comedic theme, even though
Mm.
they're
Hmm.
like monsters and overlords.
Oh,
I love
Drew, does
the
this have the item world too?
Yeah, yeah, it has the item rule wherein you could keep on leveling up and leveling up, and that's one of the things within this Gaia Makai Kingdom. And I don't remember if Phantom Brave also has it, but that's the endless replayability aspect of these games, because you could just keep on leveling and leveling and leveling up. And funny thing about that, since we were talking about item world, is one of the surprising things is when you encounter a certain enemy and you see their level is like 4 times or 100 times your level. You're like, how the hell am I supposed to overcome this? And it just, well, anyway, yeah, it has the item world on there.
Mm. All right, very cool. So we haven't hit Joe yet. Joe, toss in your pick of slept on PS2 game.
Before we do mine,
All right.
quick shout out to Sir Jomar is there, that down there at the chat. Um, I think I guess it's he just woke up
Yeah.
on this Saturday morning. We'll just do a quick ad break, and then we'll hear Sir Dan's pick, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Start your own online live stream. Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from BitMap. Since 2014, BitMap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games, ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. BitMap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from BitMap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from BitMap. By ordering your first BitMap book using our link, you will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history. Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with Streamyard. By using Streamyard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated, exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of StreamYard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamer Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using StreamYard.
Hello, Timeless Gamer Crew. We're talking PlayStation 2 Hidden Gems. My choice for Hidden Gem is going to be a 2002 action RPG, Summoner 2. Now, Summoner 2 is obviously the sequel to Summoner 1, which is on the PlayStation 2 as well. Summoner 1's a decent game. It's not bad. It's definitely worth trying, but it's quite clunky and archaic with some of its mechanics. I think a lot of people, if they came to it new today, would bounce off it. I'd suggest trying it. I wouldn't break your neck to play through it if it's not clicking with you. Summoner 2, however, is a fantastic game. A really, really good game. Now, this has still got a few issues you've got to get past. Again, it's that, kind of mid 3D era control-wise. It has that jank. It's not bad. It's not bad, but combat's not going to be anywhere near as smooth and great as you're going to be used to from modern games like Neo or some of the Souls games. It's still fun to play, but it's just not as refined. But what makes Summoner 2 so good is everything else, really. Its story is just oh man, it's got a real lush flavor to it. It's got a real Arabian Nights type flavor to it, and a very decadent and a very noble kind of flavor to it. It's very unique, and the story as well as that nice uniqueness, that nice flavor, its characters, its world, and its puzzles all support that fantastically. The world itself is really good. It's brilliant. It evolves fantastically. It's very alien. There's so I love games like Morrowind that have a real alien, fantastical feel to them. For me, the best Final Fantasy games are the ones that when you explore the world, there's something really different about it. I really like Final Fantasy X because of how Spira is and Zanarkand, and it's outlandish. It's not normal. It's something very creative. Summoner 2 has that too. You can see where Summoner 2 draws those influences from, but the way it evolves them and creates them is fantastic, and it does that with its characters as well. You journey to other world places, and you meet all these strange characters. There's a place called the Wheel of the Perdelian. I can never pronounce that right. Excuse me. I pronounce it so bad it makes me sneeze. But it's just very otherworldly and very surreal. That's it. There's Summoner 2 blends surreal and reality brilliantly. It is a very, very, very lush game. It's quite easy. It's one of those games that I think most people will breeze through. Your summoner powers make things really, really easy. So you might, if you're like me, there were times when I found myself getting a little bit bored because you could kind of smash through certain things. But the world was so interesting. I always wanted to move on to see the next part and what happened. And it's got a lot of great dynamics. You get to run your own court. You get to be a queen. Like you play as a girl, by the way. So you get to be a queen and dictate what happens in your kingdom, which adds a real nice bonus flavor to it. So I honestly, when you get into Summoner 2, it's one of those games that you just want to keep unraveling this world, unraveling these mysteries, seeing more of it, and I think it's a supremely underrated RPG. I think for me, it's my favorite PS2 game. So when I like the PS2 a lot. I think some of the games have aged quite poorly, unfortunately. But when you've got games like Vice City, The Warriors, Persona 3, all these great games on there. It's for it to be my favorite game on that system. That's no small feat. So it's done really well to get that. So I would highly recommend it. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you like action RPGs, third-person action RPGs, it's got just a real unique flavor to it. And the ending is fantastic. Is just brilliant. It's a work of genius. I won't spoil it for anybody, but when you've played through the game and you get that ending, it's just It's perfect. It's perfect. So that's my main choice. I'm gonna give an honourable mention because I won't class it as a hidden gem as such. I just don't think many people realise it's on the system. But the legendary Deus Ex or Deus Ex, sorry, is a PlayStation 2 game as well, and it's actually a really, really good port of the PC original. It does water things down somewhat, but I actually think that'll suit people. I think if people like Sir Joe who just like easy, but they just basically want to see a story, they don't really care for gameplay. I think that this version of Deus Ex would probably be the better way to experiencing it than rather than the PC rather than the PC version. The PS2 port would be better for him. It's actually the first way I experienced it, and I loved it. Oh man, when I first played it, because it's an amazing game anyway, I replayed it straight after, and then about 6 months after I replayed it again, and then I got it for my PC, and that was even better because there were even more dynamics to it. But I would say this port actually does a few things better. I think that some of the control and action elements actually work better on this. So if you've ever wanted to play Deus Ex, but you're more about story and simplicity than you are about complexity and depth, the PS2 holds a very nice version for you. So they are my choices, boys and girls. I hope you are enjoying the show. I hope you have a good day. And I would say, keep your gaming rather timeless.
All right, that was a personal attack on Joe.
What the hell was that? I'm not even doing anything.
Well, he did say that if the gamers were like you and would want a relaxing game,
No.
relaxing
Didn't say it like that. All right, it's a misnomer. Okay, I like my JRPGs mainly for the story. Okay, I didn't say I didn't say that I could give a crap about the gameplay. Okay,
well,
I just like a good story. Okay, I pay
and
attention to
good
the gameplay.
aesthetics. Sir Joe is like the meme when, oh, I just like the story, and the story is all about the bouncy bits.
I like the plot. Okay, a man
No,
of
no, no.
culture likes plot.
It
Okay?
came for our conversation. We had an offline conversation about how we didn't like how complex some games have been getting recently, like like Soulsborne's games, where I know there's a segment of the market who likes their games extremely hard, and I respect that. If that's your preference, that's perfectly fine. You like that, but for me, for Joe, who are getting up on those years, ain't nobody got time for that. Like, Miss
Ain't
Eileen,
nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody time for that.
ain't nobody got time for that. So it's the fact that we just want to go through the game. We want to enjoy it. We want to relax ourselves. And that's our personal preferences. For somebody to say, that's not a valid way to enjoy a game. Well, that's your opinion, man. We just like to enjoy ourselves.
I actually think that other people actually have a much harder time playing games like SRPGs, JRPGs, because
Like me.
yeah, they don't have the I think they get bored, or their mind wanders around when reading a lot of text, wherein most people, those who are 80s 90s kids, are
Yeah.
mostly the people who grew up reading comics, reading books. So we're have a much higher affinity with
Hmm.
long text on games. So I
Hmm.
do think that's one of the reasons why the newer
Listen.
generation would tend to opt for harder, more action oriented games. But that does not mean that all of them are, because I have a my son actually used to play mostly online game shooters, and all the stuff, but then he got into appreciating certain other games like JRPGs. He has finished. What did you finish? Fire Emblem. Three houses. He finished Fire Emblem three houses two times. Well, maybe because of the same motivation as Sergio for the Jiggly or something like that. Anyway, anyway, but still, that's a very text heavy game. So it is a hasty generalization for us to say that it's a generational thing, because some newer generations actually appreciate the games that we do enjoy. And also, right now he's into the transition of enjoying fighting games, mostly the retro fighting games. He's been playing, he's been experimenting with the Wii Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Says older Street Fighter games he's been playing in the CRT right now. And yeah, I think it's all about experience, broadening your horizon and getting experience on certain games. That's why that's one of the things that I love about our show, is that we are bringing into more information or more experiences that we have enjoyed from the our past selves, and sharing it with all the people either listening, watching the show, so that they might check them out. They might find a hidden enjoyment once they do taste the hidden fruits of what we are sharing to them through our show. So hopefully we will be able to entice you guys to try out the games that we do recommend. Anyway, just a little bit of shower thoughts on there. Anyway, back to you guys.
Um, if it's not a good story, at least keep me preoccupied. At least keep me
Yeah.
focused. That's why it's very important for the bits and pieces to be there. The
Yes,
bits and pieces
definitely.
serves as they are my Ritalin. Okay. So for me, for my hidden gem, for this episode. So I only had, I really didn't have enough time to prepare for this show. I mean for this episode.
Same
So
as me.
no, I mean out of all of the library that I have, with the PS2 library that I have so far, that I have played, and I only played like a handful of PS2 games, because after that I went straight to PS3. Um, and I was trying to play some, and then it's just that I couldn't get enough mileage to have a decent opinion. So I said, okay, I'll just think of a game that I already played and finished, and come up with something. So I came up with this one. So I chose this one. Sir Drew might know this. It's Tales of Legendia
Nice
for
choice.
the PS2. So why? So a little bit of a backstory here. So like I mentioned, so 2009, I got my first PlayStation 2, and this was a time when I'm already into JRPGs at the time. So I already played Tales of Destiny and Tales of Eternia, so I wanted more. So I went straight to Capo, of course, Adriatico, right? So I went straight to Capo, Hidalgo Street. Hey, hey. So I got the Capo versions, right? So there's the store there, and two games that caught my attention. It was Tales of the Abyss, Tales of the Abyss, and Tales of Legendia. So I got both, and I played Tales of the Abyss first, mainly because I prefer the cover art of that game rather than Legendia. And my mistake, why I should have picked Legendia first. So why? Okay, so this was the time when Namco Bandai was trying to transition itself from the PS1 era to the PS2 around this time. During the PS1 era, there was this mandate by Sony that all games should be in 3D, but not a lot of gaming companies were prepared to do that. So when Tales of Fantasia, Tales of Destiny, and even Tales of Eternia were still in 2D. right? They had no excuse jumping into the PS2. They have to do 3Ds some sort. So apparently they did Tales of Legendia first before they came up with Abyss. And by looking at the gameplay of Tales of the Abyss, this was it's a transition of um, it's the 3D-fied version of the gameplay mechanics of Destiny, Fantasia, and Eternia, where they still fighting on a uh, uh, they still fight on a like a horizontal plane, but their character sprites are more in 3D, right? Um, it still has that Destiny, Fantasia, Eternia kind of gameplay, but more 3D-fied, and everything else, the gameplay, the puzzles, all of the aesthetic, the overworld, all in 3D. Okay, so this was the time when Namco Bandai was trying to transition itself to 3D, and then they released Tales of the Abyss, which was which was a little bit more what's the best word to describe it? A little bit more furnished, a little bit more ironed out. So you can really tell that on Legendia it was like a successful experiment for Namco Bandai to jump from 2D to 3D. So what about this game? Okay, so what it's one of those JRPGs that kind of separate kind of deviates from the trope that the main character is supposed to be a swordsman. In this one, your main character is actually using fisticuffs rather than using the sword. Not a lot of JRPGs do that. The only JRPG from the Tales series that followed suit was Tales of Cilia. Because on Tales of Cilia, the main character also uses his fist rather than the sword. So and when I play this game, one of the major surprise that I remember about this game is that aside from the characters, of course, is the reveal of the world that they were on. Okay, when it was revealed what exactly was the island, and I'm like, oh shit, this is not even Lost, like Lost the TV show. I mean, it caught me by surprise what exactly was what the ground they were walking on. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it here, but earlier I was reading the actual text manual because the Capo version doesn't have the manual, so I didn't know. Right on the first page, it tells you what exactly what you're doing. What? No, that's not the best word. Where exactly you are, and I'm like, oh, okay. So if I knew that, if I knew that by reading the manual, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. Anyways, I think one of the main reasons why, out of all of the localized Tales games that we have so far, most people will say Abyss, Tales of the Abyss for the for the PlayStation 2 rather than Legendia. And I think one of the main reasons why it attributed to that is because looking at the gameplay now, if you can see, I mean, like I said, it's that transition period between the PS1 and to the PS2 in terms of the Tales games. For all of you Tales players out there, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, because in Abyss, that's the time when you can really freely roam around like an action RPG. You can really move around like in all directions. In here, you still have that horizontal plane, where you can just move from left to right. That's it. Just like in Eternia, Fantasia, and Destiny. So I think people thought it was a little bit weird and jarring um, to move your characters like that. And then when Abyss hit, okay, uh, we did it better, a little bit more. You can move your characters a little bit better here, a lot more movement, a little bit more freedom. Here it's just so very limiting, really. And then when you found out where exactly you were, um, and I'm like, this was the time when I thought that um, Sir Joel and Sir Drew will know this, because in JRPGs you are allowed to go from island to island, right? From continent to continent. Here, I'm like, okay, and I remember I've already been 20 hours in this game. Why am I still on the same island, right? And then you realize, oh, okay, maybe that's why. Oh, hello. Again, I'm not gonna spoil it, but uh, to those people who already played the game, if you know, you know. Anyway, that's it really. Tales of Legendia. Okay, try it out. Try it out. I mean, uh, don't let the the reviewers or the critics say otherwise. I mean, if I played this first before Abyss, I would have enjoyed. It would have been. It would have been a like a nice bridge. You know what I mean? Between the the PS1 Tales games going to the 3D PS2 games. That's all I'm saying. Oh, um, aside from this one, oh no, hang on. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Before they went full 3D, okay. So there was Tales of Destiny 2 remake. Oh yeah, no, Tales of Destiny remake. Sir Drew knows this. And then there are Tales of Destiny 2 for the PS2, and then Tales of Rebirth. So all of them have the same horizontal plane, but they are still in 2D slash 2.5D. And then this one, Legendia, still horizontal, but they went 3D. And then going to Abyss, full 3D everywhere. So if you guys are going to play your Tales games in chronological order, I would say, yeah, go Fantasia, Destiny, Eternia, Destiny 2, Rebirth, Legendia, Abyss, and then the rest of the PS3, PS4 games. That's all for me.
All right, excellent choice, Joe. I'll have to admit my experience with the Tales series is a little spotty. I played a few. I haven't had the chance to get to this one. I'll definitely source that out and probably give it a go. I think we're on to round
Huh.
two.
It says, I'm gonna read this one. Christopher Abisado said, "That is my current game right now. The story of Senel and his sister.
Uh-huh.
I
Okay.
love our
Yeah.
sister here. Yeah. Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
I just would like to add on this particular game, and actually, Legenda is my entrance into the Tale series back then, because during my JRPG journey during that era, I noticed that this one looked like a fighting game, because I didn't have any
Right.
experience with
Right.
the PlayStation One Tale series back then. So when I entered into this one, I really enjoyed the gameplay, especially once you are able to upgrade or get more arts in regards to Senna's
Right.
grabs, wherein you could fling all of the enemies. And it's such a satisfying factor on its gameplay, because at first you could only grab onto the smaller enemies and slam them. And this was
Right.
during the era where I was enjoying fighting games before, then suddenly discovered JRPGs. Then I got to experience that, hey, this somewhat looks like a fighting game, and we're
Like a
double
fighting
teaming
beat 'em up
people.
game, right?
Yeah, a fighting beat 'em up game. That's how I
Right.
experienced this. And yeah, go ahead, Sir Joe.
No, 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 because one of another way if I can describe this, it's like because Sir Drew knows this because you know how like I mentioned, most of your main characters uses swords, right? Like they don't really use their fists, they don't really kick, they don't really punch, they don't really kick.
Yeah,
Here, like here, your main character actually does that. So it's like you're using Axel in Streets of Rage,
yeah, definitely. And
right?
I I've only controlled Senel on this on my
I only
entire
control Fennel,
playthrough.
really.
Yeah, I
I
only
only control
controlled Senel.
Fennel. Between Senel and Chloe,
Yeah,
because
balance.
Chloe has the sword, right?
Yeah,
Chloe has a short sword, but Senel has everything. Even without using
satisfying.
anybody else, you can pretty much decimate everyone with Senel.
It's so satisfying using Senel on this. And uh even though I only remember bits and pieces about the story, it is the gameplay of Senel that really got me hooked with Legenda. And well, that's my main takeaway point. And since Sir Joe did not spoil things regarding the island, I won't say anymore. Anyway, it's a fun game. Don't let the aesthetic, the linear thing fool you, but it's a really, really enjoyable battle system. I enjoyed this battle system much more than Abyss, but I do enjoy the story of Abyss much more, even though I was pissed half of the game for it. But yeah, anyway,
Right.
it's awesome entries into the Tales franchises. And Sergio is right. People, especially those who are enjoying the much newer titles from the Tales series, should really check out Legenda. And is it still stuck on the PlayStation 2? Is there no other way to be able to play it? Steam? No.
Nope.
So
Nope.
yeah,
Aside from
another.
Abyss, because people like
Yeah,
Abyss for some reason,
yeah.
it's the best Tales games ever. Whoopie doo.
Well, it has a good story. It has a good story, but I would not definitely say it's the best one.
Well,
Eh,
between Abyss, Vesperia, and Symphonia, it's just those three. Everybody else, screw you.
yeah. Yeah, well, Vesperia has cool characters from with Rapid. Well, nobody can compete with Rapid, and well, yeah, Lloyd with the double swords, and well, he's cool looking. He looks like a Super
Eh,
Sentai character without the helmet, and there's all. I would also argue Core Meteor is a little bit cooler with his name,
Or
but anyway, so many anime tropes in the Tales games that we could argue on and on about. But at the end of the day, it's a preference, or rather, which of these games triggers the most nostalgia for you, or something
oh,
along those
how about
lines.
Graces? Christopher said, "How about Graces? Did you play Graces?"
I don't think so. I think no. Tales of Hearts are and Vesperia, Vesperia, Legenda, Abyss. The older titles, no. And yeah, I think that's about it for me. Celia. Yeah, no, Celia. They
Sylvia.
just no. I think
Mm.
it got remastered. It just got is it the one that's getting remastered right now?
Graces, yeah, it's getting a
Yeah,
remaster.
okay.
Which
Might
I don't know
take
even know why they were doing that. Originally, Graces came from first came out of Wii, and then they remastered it for the PlayStation 3. That's why you got Tales of Graces F. Why do you need another remaster? It's like Symphonia. It came out for the GameCube, then they released it for the PS2, and then
and
they remastered
it's
it for the PlayStation 3.
not
Why
even
would you
working
even need another
properly.
remaster for the PlayStation 4?
And it's not even working properly.
Not
They
even working
remastered
properly.
it. Yeah, it's not even working properly. It's a GameCube game
Hmm,
that got
right.
remastered for the PlayStation 3 era, then got remastered again, and they used the malfunctioning PlayStation 3 era assets. So what?
Right.
Anyway, yeah, I get the point.
Apologies, JRPG trash talk. All right.
Okay,
Again
Let's
with the
do
RP.
our let's do
Prone
our
with the
quick
RPGs.
uh let's do our quick what you call it
Let's do a speed round of round two.
Speed round. Speed round to our honorable mentions. Let's start with Sir Joel.
All right. My honorable mention for the PS2 hidden gem is Knight Rider for PlayStation 2. For those of you who are not familiar, I don't know how you could possibly not be familiar with Knight Rider. It was an 80s television show with a talking car that had an indestructible shell to it. Knight Rider for the PlayStation 2 is a rendition of that television show with, you know, Michael Knight and Kit as the main characters. So, Knight Rider on the PlayStation 2 had you driving the Knight Industries 2000 and battling apparently cars that stole the technology of the molecular bonded shell. So, bad guys have been controlling bootleg versions of Kit without his AI, and you are, racing to different parts of the United States to try to beat those bad guys at their own game. Now, Knight Rider for the PlayStation 2 did not have the voices of David Hasselhoff and Anthony Daniels
Boo.
in their iconic roles, but they had good approximations of them anyway. The main draw of Knight Rider for the PlayStation 2 is that you could do all the classic Kit moves: turbo boost, super pursuit mode, wheeling on one side to try to cross from one side of a building to another across a very narrow bridge. Everything is there that you could possibly look for in a Knight Rider game. Knight Rider for the PlayStation 2 also has you battling, spoiler alert, your classic foes like Goliath and Car, the Knight automated roving robots. So honestly, if you were any kind of Knight Rider fan in the 80s, you have to play Knight Rider for the PlayStation 2. Why is it a hidden gem? Why was it slept on? Probably because of the fact that Filipinos
Because the Hoff is not there.
Bonnie is actually there. Yeah, Bonnie was actually there. She drives the truck, the Knight Rider truck right there, the Knight Industries truck. There she is, Bonnie. So
Well, if David Hasselhoff is not even there, why even bother then?
okay, fine. If the Hoff isn't there, then don't even bother to show up. But I think one of the main reasons, which is sad, as to why this was a hidden gem, is Filipinos in general are not into driving games. I don't know why. I mean, you'd think that Filipinos would like to play driving games too, to fantasize about being able to drive all these amazing cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bugattis, and everything. You'd think because of the fact
If this was the Reynaldo Sarao story, then sure, maybe.
oh yeah, possibly. But yeah, the fact is we play video games because we don't have access to all of these things, all these cars and everything. So you'd think that Filipinos would love to play racing games because you wouldn't normally be able to see I don't know, an Audi on Philippine roads. But the fact is, this is one of those slept games. Maybe for two reasons. Filipinos aren't really big on driving games. Another thing is the 2000s were a little too close to the 80s for people to feel super nostalgic about Knight Rider. Nowadays, 40 years later in 2024, Knight Riders and the 80s is a huge thing. And people would do well to give Knight Rider for the PlayStation 2. It also has a sequel, Knight Rider 2, on the PlayStation 2. So those two games, give them a try. Kit does still take damage here because of the fact that the molecular bonded shell only prevents damage to the shell, to the outer shell, but impact damage will damage your electronics portion for Kit. So bombs, missiles, things like that will still damage Kit eventually as you go through it. So the thrill of doing those turbo boosts, the thrill of going super pursuit mode in trying to go after a bad guy, that will never get old for somebody like me who was a huge fan of the 80s action TV series Knight Rider. So hidden gem, slept on game, Knight Rider for the PS2. For all of you 80s fanatics, give it a try.
Thank you for that, Sir Joel. How about Sir JDM? What is your honorable mention?
So for me, my honorable mention is going to be the 2005 game called The Suffering by Surreal Software and published by Midway. It's a game where you play as a convicted uh, murderer
Oh,
who killed his family, and you got into this maximum security prison just to find out that it's like a living hellish nightmare, as you can see in the clip. So you play as Torque. You were convicted and sent to a maximum security prison. Then suddenly, as soon as you arrive at the prison, all sorts of horrors are happening, and it's your like you have, you're forced to go outside and survive and discover what's actually happening here in this prison. So it's so dark. You encounter monsters. There's as you go through as you progress through the story, you then discover what's really happening in this prison and why you are in there, because um, in the story, this a character that you're playing as Torque, he doesn't remember anything. He didn't know what he did. He just like after the murders, he got up and he didn't know anything. It's like he became like an amnesia or something like that. And by the way, this game very like it was in the news like a week ago. It's because Warner Brothers are trying to, not trying, but they already delisted this game from GOG.com for some undisclosed reasons. They did not mention what why it's going to be delisted. um uh, GOG.com were saddened about this news. It was um they announced it like August 23, just last week, or like 2 weeks before that, they're going to delist this game on last September 1st. So they will, people who bought this will no longer be able to download it um, beyond September 1. And there are like rumors that maybe Warner Brothers will try to do a reboot of this game, which I would likely play if ever. Hopefully, if they uh, there are truth to these rumors. And actually, some of the fans are um, talking about maybe Warner Brothers trying to revive this as a movie. And yeah, i- looking at the gameplay, it looks like if you have played Max Payne, if you look at the heads up display, you have the painkillers and you have this vertical life bar. And by the way, it's a psychological horror action game where um they call this, it's like Silent Hill. It's like Silent Hill and Max Payne combined, and you have this game. You throw this in a salad shooter, and suddenly you have the suffering. And this is published by Midway, which I think Midway was already they're already they already disintegrated, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so. They were huge producers of arcade games way back in the day.
Yeah.
I think they're gone now, but I could be wrong.
So that's it. You might want to check if you're a fan of Silent Hill and Max Payne. You have you can use guns. You have this shiv that you can use as your weapon, and you have these enemies that are very grotesque. So this might be a game that you would like to play in the future. So the suffering.
All right, good choice, JDM. I had this game, both this and the sequel on GOG. I might still have it in my library. I'll have to check it out. Uh there's a theme to JDM's games that it's either a survival horror or or
Psychological.
like action mystery, shall we say? All right,
Yeah.
it
Sir Ray
follows.
might actually might like this game.
Who? Sorry.
Sir Ray, either Sir Ray
Oh yeah,
or
yeah,
Sir
that's
Shibu
true.
might like
Yeah.
this
Raymond
game.
might like this game. That's true.
Mm,
All
mm.
right, good rundown, JDM. Next, we have Miss Eileen. Miss Eileen,
Yes, I.
what's your runner up?
My run-up is actually something I haven't played before, but in the
You want to
theme
give it a
of
try?
yes, in the theme of hidden gems and something slept on. This I think this game has been slept on. It's Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter.
Ah, there you
Because
go.
first of all, I love the classic Breath of Fire games. And it's only later, much later through the years that I realized there's actually a Breath of Fire game on the PlayStation 2 because first of all, they dropped the number 5 on this one. The previous games they had the Roman numerals on the titles. This one they completely dropped the number 5 and just added the Dragon Quarter title. So this was released.
It's confusing as hell because when you say quarter, you think it's the fourth one, but no. Then you realize, oh no, there's a Breath of Fire 4. Why did they call it quarter?
Yes, it's the fifth one. It's confusing. This was released in 2002 by Capcom. And what people mostly say is that, well, obviously from what it looks like and even the game cover, it doesn't resemble the original Breath of Fire games 1 through 4. So I guess people did not realize this was a sequel if they saw the game art on the shelves when it was first released. As you can see, the art style is completely different. It's in a modern setting compared to the previous ones where there's actually a desert forest. And apparently, there's only one dragon transformation of you. And the characters, they do not resemble the old Nina, Ryu, the other characters. They just bear the names but without any resemblance. So I would say this was slept on because for the fans of the series like me, it wasn't recognizable. But I would
Yeah,
say I will.
they slept on it because they chose to sleep on it.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
they would rather sleep than play this game.
yeah, there's
Literally.
two types of Dragon Breath of Fire fans out there. They either love this to death or hate this to death, and I am one of the later types of people because the difficulty on this one is bonkers, and it's I think it's one of the earliest example of RPGs wherein you die, you go back, and it's just so what do you say, it's so shocking, and the tone is entirely different, the gameplay is entirely different, the setting is entirely different, and maybe I might try this again, but my memories of this is just really all about frustration. It's just that Ryu looks like that, Nina looks like that, and anyway, yeah,
You know what? It's
that's it
too
for
bad
me.
Miss Hino. It's too bad Miss Hino is not here. The Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter looks and plays exactly like Radiata stories.
Oh, but Radiata stories I had fun with.
No, no, that's the thing. Radiata stories is a bit more fun compared to this because preparing for this
Yes,
show,
definitely.
this is one of those games that that I tried to play for the past couple of days, and I'm like, first 15 minutes of it, I'm like, I am not feeling this game. Fuck this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something is
I
definitely
went back to Radiata stories.
yeah,
Um,
it's
um,
something
it's a valid feeling. If you're not feeling a game, you have every right to just drop it, leave it. Honestly, don't even buy into the sunken cost fallacy that I paid this much for this game. If it's crap, leave it. There's life is way too short to grind through a bad game.
yeah.
Honestly. You're
Maybe
Then
at
about to.
this
somebody from our group will say, "Oh, then you're just bad at video games." Then
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's the thing I don't get about with this groups and people in the comment section is that they would exert so much energy just to deliver something negative. I don't get that. You could It's much easier to just scroll up or just say something constructive, but to just blatantly be toxic takes so much more energy than just scrolling up and I don't
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, in that respect, you either roll with it or you ignore it. You roll with it and
Yeah.
you just give back as well as you get, or you just ignore it and then just move on. That's perfectly fine. Either is a viable option. And I'm one of the kind of guys who tend to roll with it, or avoid it whenever whatever the move strikes me at that moment. But anyway,
I was already cheating when I was playing this, and I didn't, and still didn't make it fun. All right.
all
And
right,
oh, Miss I, continue. Miss I, go.
That is all actually
all right.
because I haven't played the game. But yeah, in the remit of missed games, I would like to try this one because I totally missed this one. Had no idea this existed.
There you go. That's it. All right.
Well, most of us didn't. Most of us just want to forget this existed.
Sorry for the bad memories.
Nah, that's
Oh,
fine. You
all
just
right.
you
That's
just
fine.
triggered
That's
their
fine.
PTSD, Miss
Maybe it's a
Eileen. That's
game
perfectly
that's
fine.
suited for you.
It's fine to be curious about a game that you haven't tried yet. That's fine. And other people might want to offer their opinions on them. That might be fine too. But if you want to try it and you enjoy it, that's also a perfectly
Yes.
valid experience. So that's cool. All right, cool,
All right.
nice. All right,
What's your Drew?
let's have Drew. Drew, for your runner-up. What's your runner-up for slept-on game on the PS2?
I tried my hardest not to actually recommend another JRPG because I think 80% of what I played during the PlayStation 2 era was a JRPG, but
No,
somehow I
JRPGs
was
are a
some
sizable part of the PS1 and PS2 library, so it's perfectly fine. Go for it.
I actually was able to find something that I played before. I don't remember the story, but I do enjoyed the gameplay on this one. It's actually an Xbox exclusive for the first game, but then suddenly they release a new the sequel on the PlayStation 2 surprisingly. And the thing about this game is I played Devil May Cry before and Fantasy Star Online. Enjoyed those games, and this game is actually a good mix of those two particular games because it's like Devil May Cry in space. So, the game I'm talking about is Crimson Sea 2. So Crimson C2, this is, as I have said, this I played this like I think almost 2 decades before, but I do remember the gameplay. I enjoyed the gameplay. It's a hack and slash beat 'em up with lights, with sabers and guns. So it's like similar to Devil May Cry. You could juggle, you could blast. It was based on my memory. I had fun with this one, so that's why I got another
Oh.
a copy of this. Gonna try and play this again. Gonna see if what how I remembered it was as fun as what it really is. And if you could see here, the HUD of this looks strikingly similar to the HUD of Fantasy Star Online. So I do remember enjoying it. I just can't remember for the life of me what the story is about. So most probably regarding aliens and some stuff. But the
Devil May
gameplay
Cry
was
in
fun.
space. That's it.
Yeah,
That just says something about how how the story was so generic, I guess, Drew.
yeah. Well, I don't remember, but I do remember the gameplay was okay. I do
Okay.
remember enjoying the gameplay. You just
Mhm.
can't, for the life of me, remember
Okay.
what it was about.
So you were a bunch of scientists in space, and then for some reason got close to an alien colony, and then each member got killed off, and then you're the only survivor, and your task now is to survive.
Aliens. The story of aliens. Okay, okay. So that's why I don't remember. Okay, so anyway, the gameplay, as far as I remember, was enjoyable. That's why I'm actually saying it, and that's why I actually bought it. But anyway, I'm honest enough to actually say that I don't remember much except the feeling that I enjoyed the game. So that's why we do revisit some of the games that we have played before, because sometimes we forgot what it's about, but we have this inkling feeling that we enjoy the game. So I do think that it was a hidden gem because it sparked something in me to remember enjoying it. So that's that. So for those of you guys who want to try this one, so Devil May Cry in Space, I'll be trying it again. So let's try to make new memories with this game together on the near future at least. Anyway, that's it for my recommendation, which I'm also recommending to myself. So, yep, that's it. Crimson C2 for the PlayStation 2. Originally, the prequel was released on the Xbox system.
All
All
right.
right, that
Thank you for
brings us
that,
to
Sir
Job.
Drew. Speaking of a JRPG that killed their franchises with their last game, I'm going to choose this one. It's Wild Arms 5 for PlayStation
Ah,
2. And I got the 10th anniversary edition right here. So if I'm gonna make it short, um, if there's one thing about this game, stop making the hexagon battle system a thing. People hated it. Stop insisting
Why?
on it. Now you're gone. And this is the reason why the franchise is gone, because you keep insisting on something that's not even working for the players. Uh, g- gameplay wise, I mean story wise. To be honest, I hardly remember anything because I got too distracted at looking at the bits and pieces of the girls and the guys, everything in between. All right. Um, so the main selling point of this game is, of course, the hexagon game battles. Um, i- this is one of those things that Xseed was trying to experiment. It's like a hybrid between a turn-based and a strategy RPG at the same time. Anyways, it, out of all of the Wild Arms games, most people will talk about the first one, two, and three, but you hardly hear anyone talking about Wild Arms 4, Wild Arms 5, and even Wild
except,
Arms XF.
except,
Why?
except.
Because of the hexagon battle system. And it's just my opinion, okay? Or maybe don't find it so appealing. And
No,
that's
Hexagon
why
Hexagon
You
tile battle
Wild
system.
Arms franchise is gone.
you
Hexagon
don't
tile
want.
battle system works with war games like
Mm.
Warhammer, what you call the civilization game
Brigandine.
thing. Yeah,
Again, then
yeah.
you don't like people, six people around you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because instead of just
war.
four people, it's six people that's um
Yeah,
flanking
four
you each
four
side.
people is a kuyog. Six people around you is a bukake. Anyway,
Bukake. There you go. And that's the show, guys.
oh,
We will end the show with a bukake, okay?
oh my god.
Are we done with show and
Okay.
tell?
Oh yeah, Drew
Something for
hasn't
show
done the
and
show and
tell.
tell yet. No.
Do you have something for show and tell? A bukake
Yeah,
show and
let's
tell?
close it out with Drew's show and
Yes,
tell.
it is. And it's actually very
Mm.
timely with the episode. I just
Oh,
got this. Just got
oh,
this
There
video.
you
nice.
go. This
There you
Gaia 1
go.
and 2.
The
So
Disgaea
I'm actually
series.
trying to rebuy the things that I played, finished, and enjoyed back in the Yo Ho Ho days, and trying to get my nostalgia pieces back. I'm not gonna play them, so I do tend to have a set price on getting these items. Like like Sir Joel,
Yes.
it's either $20 or less, or
Yes.
I ain't buying it. That's the
Agree.
accountant way. I learned that from Sir Joel. So got this really cheap on the Mercari site, which is our local the local online site for Japan, and they tend to sell the US and R2 versions really cheap there. So
How
yeah.
ironic. I guess
And
if you want to look for US games, go to Japan for cheap. There you
yeah,
go.
Thank you for the tip. Gonna start looking there.
yeah, definitely, and that's why I have some shelves on here that are US, because I tend to find them really cheap, cheaper than the Japanese versions, and that says a lot because Japanese versions are really cheap. Anyway, yeah, that's it for my show and tell, and
All right.
I'm
All right.
glad
Thank you
I
for
was
that,
able to flex a
Sir
bit.
Drew. Yeah. There you go. Thank you for that. This Gaia Bukake right there. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's do our shameless plug. Well, speaking of Bukake, I don't wanna reference this. Okay, let's go. We're surrounding Miss I right now. Miss I, you go first.
Is that what you were fiddling around with this whole time? Oh my goodness. Okay. Isai, go for it. Take us home.
So you can find my VODs because I haven't streamed in a while on Twitch. Well, it's expired, but they're mostly on YouTube. And I think I might upload the video of the Malaysian retro store that I took maybe sometime much later, so for everybody to see. So there, you can find me on Twitch and YouTube.
All right, thank you for that, Miss I. How about Sir Joe JDM?
Yes, you can catch me on this show, Timeless Gamer Show, and on my Twitch channel, 123 Go Retro. I recently came back from retirement and I've been streaming, not regularly, but at least once a week, just to keep the channel alive. And I see people coming back to watch my playthroughs, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much,
All right,
Wanderers.
thank you for the Wanderers. How about Sir Drew? Welcome back.
And I'm glad to be back. And you can find me, guys, on both my Facebook and my YouTube channels, both named Geek Out Gaijin. And I would be releasing, I think by tomorrow, a new video titled 10 Things You Should Know Before Buying Japanese Video Games. Been working on this a lot. And I'm back after a sabbatical because I really needed to get back to real life grind and actually using my free time to play more video games, because that's what we are all about, to be able to play video games and share our experiences with them. So do
I
check
miss
out
that.
my yeah, my
I miss
page.
that playing video games. I miss that.
Yeah. I was playing
Um,
video games
I
definitely.
miss having time.
Yes. Hey, I got a platinum for Stellar Blade and Unicorn Overlord. So
Mm.
anyway, my channel is Geek.
For Stellar Blade, you need to allocate time for that. It's
Yes, I
mandatory.
needed all of my assets and
Mm.
fingers
We
and
need them
everything.
bits and pieces. Okay.
My focus to get the platinum, because it was so
Mm.
hard. It was so
Mm.
hard to stay focused on that.
Mm. It's getting hard now. Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, why haven't you played it anyway? For a man of your cultural preferences, you should have been the first one to go and dive in that game. It was specifically made for you.
It's specifically made for me, but the price is not specifically charged for me. It still costs $100 here. So,
And it's
um,
not going down.
is she worth it? Is she worth the $100, Sir Joel? Maybe.
Uh,
Maybe I'll wait until she costs a little bit more, $20 maybe.
yeah. I mean, in reference to Drew's quotation of me, never pay more than $20 for a game. I can't claim the credit for that one. That was a quote by the great Guybrush Threepwood of Monkey Island series.
How about Sir
Oh,
Joel? Where can we
actually, I
find
didn't
you?
pay anything for Stellar Blade.
Oh well, there you go.
My,
well,
my daughter got it for me.
well,
She,
there you go.
she
Free
said,
is a very
"Have
good
fun, Dad.
price.
Have fun, Dad." I did.
Free is a very good price. As for me, I have been streaming lately on Twitch, straight from my Xbox. I've been going through the new games that have been coming out on the Xbox Game Pass recently. I've been playing Star Trucker. I think Joe and JDM were watching me play that. That game is hard, and and I've also been playing a little bit of Expeditions, a mud running game, but I haven't had the chance to stream that. But of course, for the speed freak that I've recently discovered that I kind of am, I've been playing Forza Horizon 4 on the Xbox. I've been streaming on Twitch.tv. Recently, I'll see if I can get back to Kick.com, but still hashtag FUFB. Up yours, Mark. And you guys will always catch me here on Timeless Gamer Show. I do my very best to show up every episode that I can, unless of course something pressing comes up. But um, very glad to have everybody here on the audience. Very glad to have everybody who are downloading our episodes and podcasts and listening to us on the go. Thank you very much to everybody. Back to you, Joe.
All right. Thank you for that, Sir Joel. And of course, let's plug this one right here. So, Shuffle Emporium and Studio.ph are currently at the PokeFest, being organized by Pokemon PH. And where are they? Um,
Market.
Market,
Ayala Market Market.
yeah. So Ayala Market. Okay. And I forgot to load up the actual poster for this, but they're there for the long weekend, starting from yesterday, Friday, and they're still there till tomorrow, Sunday. So Studio.ph is offering Pokemon related video games as free plays. And then Shuffle Emporium is also selling Pokemon related stuff, toys, accessories, and credit cards, trading card, Pokemon related stuff right there, among other merchants there at Market. So to all of you Filipinos right there who are within the vicinity, check them out tomorrow. They're still there. Go at the Market, PokeFest. I think they're in the first floor, ground floor, um, over there. I believe Game Boy P, yeah, Game Boy
Yep.
PH is also there. Um, they're going to sell some Pokemon related video games because ours is just free play. They are the ones who are actually selling some Pokemon related video games. So check them out. Why don't you? And that's it, guys. Thank you for being in the show. Thank you all so much. We got Jose Estrada there. Hey. Mon Prince, Christopher Abestado. Thank you, Christopher. Who else who just came in? We got Sir Jomar from earlier who said hi. And we'll see you again next week. And as always, our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey,
Timeless. All right. See you
all right.
guys. PS2, best selling console of all time. Try all those hidden gems. See you guys again soon. Bye.
PS5 got nothing on.
Sorry, JDM, you were saying?
Heard that.
It was
PS5
saying
got
PS5
nothing.
got nothing on the PlayStation 2.
Really agreed. Honestly. Honest truth right there. All right.